Hi everyone, welcome back. This class is focused on stretching all of the muscles connected to the shoulders, the upper back, the neck, all of the muscles that can get really tight if you're sat at a desk all day, if you're driving a lot. So this class will be really nice to do if you've been sitting down today, if you haven't moved around a lot, maybe you've been at work. And we're doing quite a few hip stretches too. So really an all-round class. All you'll need is either 2 bricks and a block if you've got them at home. If not, just 2 pillows or 2 cushions will be perfectly fine. We are going to start in a comfortable seat, so whether that's sitting cross-legged or you can have your legs out in front of you. And you might want to sit up on a yoga block if you've got one at home, or if you don't have a yoga block, you can sit on a cushion here instead, whatever you prefer. But especially if you've been sitting down all day, your hips might be quite tight. It can be quite nice just to lift the pelvis a little bit with a cushion or your block. Makes it a little bit easier to sit up nice and tall. So coming to stillness, lengthening through the spine, lifting the chest slightly and letting the shoulders stay relaxed here. And then closing the eyes or lowering the gaze. Just taking a few minutes to arrive here. Connecting to the present moment before we begin our practice. A good way to do that is to start to bring the awareness to the breath. Not trying to change it in any way, just bringing your awareness to wherever you can feel the breath most in your body. Just trying to let go of the day so far. Might have had a really busy day. So maybe just doing a little check-in, seeing how you're feeling. And then just seeing if we can start to deepen the breath, only slightly. So seeing if you can breathe in really deeply through the nose. And breathing out nice and slowly through the nose as well. Breathing in really deeply. Breathing out nice and slowly. Nice, and using the breath as an anchor throughout your practice. So the mind starts to wander, just seeing if you can gently come back to the breath. Letting the breath anchor us in the present moment. So straight away, trying to keep that connection to that slow and steady breath. You can keep the eyes closed here if you want to, or maybe gently blinking them open. We're going to start with some shoulder rolls. So rolling the shoulders up, back and down. Sending a little bit of awareness into the shoulder blades, noticing how they're feeling. Making these circles as big or as small as you want them to be, whatever feels best for you. And then going in the opposite direction if you haven't already. So rolling the shoulders forwards now. Really nice. And then we're just going to stretch the arms all the way up, reaching towards the ceiling. Maybe the gaze follows. Nice steady inhale here. And then as you exhale, we're bringing the arms all the way back down, nice and slowly. Nice. I'm going to warm up the hands a little bit here. So just rubbing the hands together. And then taking a couple of moments just to kind of get familiar with the areas that we're trying to target and bring in a little bit of warmth as well. So bringing the fingers to the jaw hinge to start with. It might feel nice to open the mouth. Maybe click in like mine is. And just rubbing in one direction, maybe little circles. And then going in the opposite direction. And then taking the fingers along the jawbone and just giving that a little massage. Nice. And then releasing the left hand. Let's take our right hand to what we call the SCM muscle. So it goes all the way from underneath the ear to the top of the collarbone. So just seeing if you can find where that is on the left side of the neck. Might be nice to turn your head slightly towards the right. And just massaging gently up and down, or maybe going in circles here. Noticing how that muscle's feeling. Maybe it's quite tight or tense. Maybe feels okay. And applying as much pressure as feels right for you. If it's quite tight and tense, it might feel quite nice to add quite a bit of pressure, or you might need to go quite gently. So just make sure you're doing what feels best for you. Nice. Then we're going to move to our trap muscle. So that goes all the way from the base of the skull to the top of the shoulder. Just having a little bit of a feel around there, noticing how that's feeling. These are the muscles that can get really tight if we're sat at a desk all day, we're driving a lot, anything really that brings us into that forward rounding position. And saying that, just make sure you're sitting up nice and tall here. So noticing if the shoulders have started to lift, see if you can keep them quite relaxed, a bit of length in the spine. Nice, let's take one more breath here. And then releasing that, we'll go to the other side. So starting on that SCM muscle, from underneath the ear to the top of the collarbone. So we're on the right side now. Massaging up and down, or maybe in circles. Trying to keep that connection to the breath. Maybe noticing if it feels any different on this side to the other side. Very tight, very tense. And then when you're ready, let's move to that trap muscle. So going from the base of the skull to the top of the shoulder, and even you can go down the upper back a little bit as well. Just anywhere that feels right for you. Giving it a little squeeze or a little massage. Can make quite a big difference doing this. I don't think we do it enough. I always try and do it. I try and remind myself to do it every day at work, but it doesn't always happen. Let's take one more breath here. And then coming back to center. Having a little reset, making sure you're sitting up nice and tall, lifting the chest slightly. Then from here, we're going to draw a line with the nose all the way to the ceiling. Noticing if your trap muscles are trying to help out here. So if the shoulders have started to creep up a bit, see if you can consciously relax them down the back, just a little bit. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then as you exhale, we're going to draw a line with the nose all the way down to the mat. So tucking the chin to the chest, maybe feeling a stretch in the back of the neck, the upper back here. And if you want to feel a little bit more, you can squeeze your shoulders together, bring your elbows towards your sides. So squeeze in the upper back, keeping the chin tucked towards the chest. Couple of breaths here. Then we'll inhale to come back to center. Releasing the arms from the sides. It might feel nice to roll the shoulders a couple of times. Then we're going to bring the left hand to the mat alongside us. We'll inhale to reach the right arm up. So reaching towards the ceiling first. And then as you exhale, we're going to bend towards the left. So coming into a side bend. And it might feel nice to stay in stillness here. Keep reaching towards the left. Or you might prefer to gently pulse in and out of it. So bending that left elbow a little bit. And then straightening it and reaching over with the right hand. So stretching down the left side of the body. Right side of the body. I'm used to mirroring. Okay. Let's inhale to reach to the left. And then as you exhale, we're going to bend the right elbow, so coming into this bat wing shape, lifting the chest towards the ceiling. Nice. Inhale to reach back over. And then we'll exhale to bend that elbow, lift the chest towards the ceiling, squeeze the shoulders together. Do that one more time. Inhale to reach. Exhale to bend the elbow, squeeze the shoulders together. Nice. We'll inhale to reach. And as you exhale, we'll lift all the way back up, reaching towards the ceiling. And then letting the arms come down, maybe giving them a little shake. Let's go to the other side. So bringing the right hand alongside the body now. We'll inhale to reach the left arm up. And exhale, bending towards the right. Again, either staying in stillness here, or it might feel nice to gently pulse in and out. Trying to keep that connection to the breath. And then we'll inhale to reach. Exhale, we're bending that left elbow, reach this chest towards the ceiling. It's coming into this bat wing shape. Ooh, quite strong on the upper back. We'll inhale to reach. Exhale, bend the elbow, lift the chest. One more time, we'll inhale to reach. Exhale, bend the elbow, lift the chest. Inhale to reach. Exhale, we'll reach both arms up towards the ceiling. And then letting the arms come down, give them a little shake. Nice, so we're going to transition onto all fours now. So coming into our tabletop position. So coming into tabletop, we want our knees to be roughly underneath the hips, about hip distance apart. Wrists either underneath the shoulders, or if that feels a little bit too intense, you can walk your hands a bit further forwards. Spreading the fingers nice and wide, pressing down through the fingertips. We're going to start by circling the hips and the shoulders round. So we're starting to draw a circle with the torso here, going in whatever direction you want to start with. Keeping that connection to the breath. And then going in the opposite direction. So just sending the weight in a circle, coming onto the wrists and then onto the knees. Nice and gently. And then coming back to center, let's move through our cat-cow. So we'll inhale to drop the belly towards the mat, lift the chest, let the gaze come forwards. Then as you exhale from the tailbone, we're sending the spine in the opposite direction, so rounding the spine and tucking the chin to the chest as the last movement. We'll inhale to drop the belly, lift the chest, gaze comes forwards, and we're back in our cow pose. Exhale, we round the spine, tucking the chin to the chest in our cat pose. Moving through cat-cow with your own breath now. Whether you inhale to cat or inhale to cow, doesn't really matter, just whatever feels better for you. So you might inhale as you press the hands into the mat around the spine in our cat pose. You might exhale to send the chest towards the mat, belly towards the mat, lifting the chest and letting the gaze come forward. So see what pattern of breath you prefer. Maybe sending a little bit of awareness into the shoulder blades here. And then coming back to stillness, nice neutral spine. We are going to tuck the toes under, walk the hands about another hand width in front and a little bit wider than hip distance. Making sure the fingertips are spread really wide, fingers are spread really wide, we're pressing down through the fingertips. And then really get the feeling of pressing the mat away. So we want the shoulders to be engaged here. So maybe try pressing the mat away and then stop and notice the difference in your shoulders. And then press the mat away again and then release. And then let's press it away again. Keep pressing down. We're going to send the hips about halfway back. Take a nice steady inhale here. And then as you exhale, we're lifting the knees, lifting the hips, and coming into a downward dog. You might want to take the stance a little bit longer here, maybe walking the feet back or taking a bit wider if that feels more comfortable. And keep the knees as bent as they need to be. So we're focusing on strengthening the shoulders here. So pressing down through the mat and trying to keep that straight line from the crown of the head to the tailbone. So getting the feeling of drawing the chest towards the thighs. Let's take one breath here. As you inhale, we're going to shift the weight forward. So coming into a high plank, letting the shoulders come over the wrists here. Nice straight line from the crown of the head to the heels. And then we're lowering the knees, nice and gently. You can untuck the toes. Bend the elbows and we're going to lower all the way down onto the front of our bodies. Nice. Hands can stay underneath the shoulders here. Forehead is either hovering above the mat or resting against the mat. Taking the feet about hip distance apart. Then from here, as you inhale, we're going to lift the chest. Might be a really small movement. Squeezing the shoulders together. So we are in our cobra pose or bhujangasana. It might be a nice baby cobra, especially if there's any pain or pinching in the lower back. Keep your cobra quite low to the mat. And just making sure you're not pressing into the hands too much here. We really want the strength to be coming from our back. So maybe hovering the hands, making sure you're not using them to lift yourself up and then putting them back on the mat. Nice steady inhale here. Exhale, bringing the forehead back to the mat. Let's do that one more time. As you inhale, we're lifting the chest, coming into our cobra pose. Strengthening the back of the body, stretching the front of the body. Squeeze the shoulders together. One more breath here. And exhale to release. Nice. tucking the toes under. We're going to press down into the hands, lifting back up to our tabletop pose. Might feel nice to wiggle the hips side to side a couple of times. And then tucking the toes under, spread the fingers wide, press down through the fingertips. We are going to sit the hips about halfway back, keep pressing into the mat. Nice steady inhale here. And exhale, we'll lift the knees, lift the hips. We are in our downward dog. And this time you might pedal out the feet, dropping one heel to the mat and then the other. Trying to breathe nice and slowly. Strengthening the whole body. You might feel quite tight or tense, especially if you had a long day. And then on your next inhale, let's take the gaze to the top of the mat. As you exhale, we'll walk the feet to meet the hands. You might need to walk the hands back to meet the feet a little bit. That's absolutely fine. Then we're going to stay in this forward fold position. So slight bend in the knees, or if you've got tight hamstrings, might be quite a bend in the knees like me. Upper body is relaxed, so we're letting the spine round. Arms can either be dangling loose here, or maybe holding onto the opposite elbows, pressing down through the feet. It might feel nice to gently sway side to side, maybe bobbing up and down. Just letting the spine, the upper back, the neck and the head relax here. You might nod the head yes, shake the head no. Nice. And then on your next inhale, we're going to lift up halfway. So starting to straighten the legs, lifting the spine and coming into this L-shaped position. Drawing the shoulders towards each other, stretching the backs of the legs. Taking a nice steady inhale here. And then exhale, bending the knees, rounding the spine, coming back to our forward fold. Uttanasana. As you inhale, we'll press down through the feet, take the arms wide, lifting all the way up to standing. And exhale, we'll cactus the arms, lift the chest, drawing the shoulders towards each other. Inhale to reach up again. And exhale, we'll cactus the arms, lift the chest. Inhaling to lift. And this time, as you exhale, we'll bring the hands to prayer position, bending the knees, and we're lowering all the way back into that forward fold, or Uttanasana. Inhale, we lift up halfway, straightening the legs, nice straight spine, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, we bend the knees around the spine, Uttanasana. From here, we're stepping back into a downward dog. So if you've got bricks at home and you like them just to have a little bit more space in your downward dog, when we then come to step a foot forwards, bring your hands to the bricks here. If not, keep your hands on the mat. We're taking a nice long step back, lifting the hips up nice and high. Maybe pedaling out the feet a couple of times. Reconnecting to the breath. And then when you're ready, on your next inhale, we're going to hug the left knee into the chest, shifting the weight forwards and stepping the left foot in between the hands. Might want to take the stance a little bit longer, especially if you feel like your pelvis is lifting up here. Really nice. And then we are just going to shift back and forth a couple of times. So keeping that right knee lifted. Stretching through the hips. Pressing down into the mat or into the bricks, just so that you've got a nice stable foundation. I'm stretching through the back of that right leg as well. When you're ready, let's lower that right knee, untucking the toes, and then from here we can press down into the top of that right foot. And as long as it feels okay in the foot, in the right knee, you might keep pressing into the top of the foot, maybe lift the right knee slightly. Exhale to place it back on the mat. Maybe inhaling to lift again, really strong in that right leg. Exhale to release. And then inhaling to lift one more time. Exhale to release. Really nice. So making sure that your foundation is stable here. So if you're feeling a little bit wobbly, take the feet a bit wider. So setting up for our Anjaneyasana, our low lunge. We can bring the hands to that left knee to start with. And we want to make sure we've got a stable base here. So rather than having the hips a bit lower towards the mat, you might lift up so that the legs are more in like a 90-degree angle positions. And if there's any discomfort in that back knee, maybe get a blanket or something just for a little bit of padding there. So finding what version of our low lunge feels best for you, whether that's lifted or maybe it feels okay to have the hips lowered a little bit, whatever makes you feel more stable. We're going to inhale to reach the arms up, maybe the gaze follows. And we'll exhale to cactus the arms, lift the chest, draw the shoulders towards each other. Really nice. Inhale to lift. And then as you exhale, we're bringing the hands to the back of the head, interlacing the fingers. Nice. And then trying to keep a nice, slow, steady breath here. We're just going to take a little twist towards the left. Might be a really tiny movement. Coming back through center and taking a little twist to the right. Trying to keep the legs nice and still here. It's a proper challenge for the balance as well. Coming back through center, twisting to the left. And then all the way to the right. And then choosing how quick you want this twist to be. You might move nice and slowly from left to right. Trying to keep that connection to the breath. Or you might see if you can speed it up a little bit. Feeling very wobbly doing that. So choose what feels best for you. Let's just take one more breath here. Nice. And then we're releasing the hands, bringing them back to frame that left foot, whether they're on the bricks or the mat. We're going to keep the right hand where it is. We'll inhale to lift the left arm, coming into a twist. Nice slow exhale here. Then we're going to inhale to reach that arm towards the front of the mat. Nice. Exhale, we'll bend the elbow, coming into that bat wing again, lifting the chest. Inhaling to reach. And exhale to bend the elbow, lift the chest. And let's do that one more time. Inhale to reach. And exhale, bend the elbow, lift the chest. Nice. Bringing that left hand back to the brick or the mat. We are going to tuck the right toes, lift that knee. We're stepping the left foot back, sending the hips nice and high, downward facing dog. Feel nice to bend the knees here, getting a little bit of a release in the hips. Don't worry too much about how the downward dog looks. Trying to focus more on how it feels, what would feel good for you. Maybe bending the knees here. Might bend both knees at once. Might feel nice to try and reach the heels towards the mat, stretching the backs of the legs. And now I'm doing that thing where I've talked too much and kept you here for ages. So on your next inhale, let's bend the right knee. We're sending the weight forwards, stepping the right foot in between the hands this time. Left knee is lifted, toes are tucked. We'll just shift back and forth a couple of times. Stretching through the hips. Feel really tight if you've been sat down a lot today. And when you're ready, we'll lower that left knee to the mat, untucking the toes. And same on this side. Just maybe seeing how it feels to press down into the top of that left foot. Maybe the knee wants to lift a little bit. And we'll exhale to release. Inhale, press down into the top of the foot, maybe lifting the knee a little bit higher. Exhale to release. And one more time, inhaling to press into the top of the foot, lift the knee really strong in that leg. Exhale to release. Really nice. You can keep the top of the foot on the mat or tuck the toes, whatever you prefer. Bringing the hands to the right knee and lifting up into our low lunge or Anjaneyasana. So again, choosing on this side what feels best for you, whether that's having the hips quite low, if you like that feeling of the stretch in your hips, or if that feels a bit wobbly, lifting up a little bit, coming into more of a 90-degree angle shape in the legs. Again, getting any padding that you might need for that left knee, maybe a blanket, anything to make it a bit more comfortable. We'll inhale to reach the arms up and exhale to cactus the arms, lift the chest. Nice. Inhale to lift. Exhale to cactus. Keep pressing down through that front foot to keep a little sense of stability. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, we'll interlace the fingers, bring the hands to the back of the head. We're moving through those little twists that we did on the other side. So trying to keep a slow and steady breath. Twisting towards the right to start with. Back through center and over to the left. Going back to the right, through center and to the left. And choosing how fast you want to twist here. Obviously, the faster you go, the harder it will be to balance. I'm going to keep mine nice and slow. Nice, strengthening the upper back as well, stretching the hips. Let's take one more breath here. Exhale, coming back to center, bringing the hands back to either the bricks or the mat. Keeping the left hand where it is now, we'll inhale to reach the right arm up, coming into our twist. And then we'll inhale, reach that hand towards the front of the mat. Exhale, bend the elbow, lift the chest. Inhale to reach forwards. Exhale, bend the elbow, lift the chest, squeezing the shoulders together here. Inhale to reach. Exhale, bend the elbow, lift the chest. One more time. Nice. Inhale to reach. Exhale, bringing that right hand back to the mat or to the brick. This time we're going to step that right knee back to meet the left. Bringing the hands to the mat if you've got them on the bricks here. And we'll come into a child's pose. So either taking the knees nice and wide, but wider than hip distance, bringing the big toes to touch. Or if you've had enough of the hip stretches and you don't really want to feel that bit more intense stretch on the hips, keep the knees closer together. Then we're sitting the hips back towards the heels, walk the hands forwards. Resting the forehead either on the mat or on a brick or a block or a cushion. Just making sure it's not hovering here. So letting the head relax against something. Coming back to that slow and steady breath. Worked quite hard, a lot of hip stretches, upper back, shoulders. Might be feeling a little bit warm. Breath might have got a little bit quicker. So just seeing if we can recenter a little bit. Slowing the breath down. And then either stay like this in your child's pose, or if you want a bit more on the shoulders, the upper back, keep the right hand where it is, right arm extended. Just going to lift the head slightly and thread the left arm underneath the right. Coming onto the left side of the head. And we're in our thread the needle version of child's pose. So right hand can stay where it is. You can press down into the mat. You might feel it a little bit more in your shoulders. And same with the left arm. If you press down into the back of the left hand, to the back of the left arm, might feel it a little bit more. Or you can bend the right elbow, press down into the mat from here. That might feel a little bit nicer. Or you can even wrap that right hand round the back, bringing it towards the left thigh. So there's no hierarchy of poses here at all, or ever really. It's just whatever feels best for you. I like having my arm extended. Just taking a couple of deep breaths here. When you're ready, gently coming back to center, lifting the head. We'll go to the other side, so threading the right arm underneath the left now, coming onto the right side of the head. And choosing what arm position you prefer on this side. Either left hand extended, left arm extended, maybe the elbow bent, or wrapping the arm around the back and towards the right thigh. Breathing in really deeply. And breathing out nice and slowly. Let's take one more breath here. And then pressing down through that left hand, coming back to center. And then walking the hands back towards you. We're going to transition onto our backs now. So just scooting the feet to the side. Walk your hands behind you. And then before we lower down, we've got an option here to come into a version of supported fish. So if you've got bricks with you at home, you want one for your head, placed horizontally, and one that will go in between your shoulders. So we're just going to lower ourselves down nice and slowly, and You might need to play around with the bricks a little bit just to make sure they feel relatively comfortable, and choosing what setting that you want them on. So the higher you have the bricks, the more intense this stretch will feel across the front of your chest, your shoulders, your upper back. And then it can feel quite nice to take the arms quite wide here. But again, play around with the position of your arms, see what feels best for you. And always coming out of it nice and slowly if you need to adjust. So you can take the bricks a little bit higher, maybe like that. See what you prefer. If you don't have bricks, you can use some cushions, same kind of thing. You might just want to double them over here. So one for in between the shoulders, one for the head. You can get as many cushions as you want. And then lowering down nice and slowly. Ooh, that's quite comfy. And you can keep the knees bent here with the soles of the feet on the mat, or you can lengthen the legs out. Just whatever feels most comfortable for you. We're trying to get a stretch across the front of the chest, letting the shoulders relax back and taking us out of that forward rounding shoulder position that's so easy to fall into. Once you've chosen what position you prefer, what variation of the pose, just coming back to that slow and steady breath. Breathing in really deeply and breathing out nice and slowly. Nice. And then it might feel nice to reach the arms up towards the ceiling. You can interlace the fingers here, either keeping the palms facing towards you or flipping the palms towards the ceiling. And it can feel quite nice to bring the arms all the way overhead, stretching through the shoulders, the upper back. And either holding the arms here, or you might exhale to bring them back. And then inhale to take them overhead again. Just going as far as feels comfortable for you. Doing that a couple more times, trying to keep that connection to the breath. Nice. And then releasing the arms. We're going to come into our Shavasana. So if you feel really comfortable in this supported fish and you want to stay here for a little bit longer, stay exactly as you are. If you're ready to come out of it, just move really gently so it can help to bring the elbows to the mat, lifting up through the head, coming onto the forearms, and just gently moving your bricks or your pillows to one side. And then lowering back down. And either coming into Shavasana, so extending the legs, extending the arms, having a little bit of space between the arms and the rest of the body, so the shoulders can relax into the mat. Or if you'd prefer to be in supported rest, so bending the knees, Taking the feet a bit wider than hip distance and letting the knees fall in and rest against each other. Arms can be extended or hands on the stomach or the chest, just coming into a position that feels comfortable for you. Just for the next couple of moments. And then letting the breath return to its natural rhythm. Relaxing the shoulders, the muscles of the face and the jaw. Feeling the weight of the hips sinking into the mat. And let your legs be really heavy. Seeing if you can really let yourself enjoy this sense of peace, of relaxation, letting go of any sense of urgency. And enjoying this time that is just for you. And we're slowly going to start to deepen the breath. Bringing a little bit of awareness back into the body, maybe wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, rolling the wrists and the ankles, maybe eventually taking a full body stretch. It might feel nice to bend the knees, and maybe rolling onto the side of the body. And just taking a moment longer to enjoy this sense of peace, of relaxation. And then we're really gently going to lift up and find a nice comfortable seat, moving nice and slowly. And let's take one last inhale all together, reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe the gaze follows. And exhale, bringing the hands to prayer position at the heart. Maybe taking a little bow. Well, thank you all so much for joining me. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you.